Yeah, so hi. I think some people just really struggle talking to accountants and business consultants because sometimes professionals can talk really in a different language where, if I had a conversation with a builder or a plumber about what they're doing to my house or to my bathroom, quite often I feel a bit uneasy and pretend to know what they're talking about, or really ask questions I'm sort of not that interested in the answer. So with my company, Insight Accountancy, what tends to happen is we meet lots of our clients on a regular basis, and having a conversation that flows between us, the accountancy firm, and them, the entrepreneur. It's always really difficult to sit down and to have a flowing conversation where both me and the entrepreneur are sort of on the same page. So what's happened now is I've created a report that's left with the entrepreneur, but it sort of breaks down the area of the business model that we're discussing, or an area of the business model that the entrepreneur has a concern about. So if you look here onto your screens, what you're able to see are two business models. So this information was done from research and loads of time spent from the Swedish university, where they went over and studied lots of different business models and sort of why they're successful. So here on the right, what you have, if I quickly draw this, if it's going to let me, what you have here is not only an awful line that I've drawn, but the four dimensions of a business model. So in the middle you have who. So who is really the customer. Who are you trying to attract? Okay, and then second to the external side of your business model is the what. Okay, what do you offer your customers, and both of those aspects of your business model are outside. So if you think of a plumber or a builder, which I mentioned I don't really understand, who are their customers? Well, it's going to be in their location. It's going to people at a time that have a problem or move into the area. They're going to be of a certain age. They're always going to be sort of more likely to be homeowners. But you could also have a plumber that really wants to just deal with the rental market. So he'll probably focus his marketing more to letting agents and landlords, and may offer preferred rates to those types of businesses. And he might choose to do that because he gets regular work. So if he was to do that, for example, and he looks at what to offer those customers, that's where I talked about the regular service, maybe better pricing, availability 24 hours a day. He might insure their equipment or parts that he uses, to offer it onto warranties. So there's lots of reasons where you start to look on the outside of your business model, to really identify with obviously who your customer is and what you're going to do for them. So what we've, if I just clear all of that first of all, so on the internal side of your business model, which we've coloured here, so if I just mark this again, this is to do with the how do you create value. Okay, so that's that plumber ensuring that he can get to those households, whether it be for the letting agents, if that's who he decided to do business with. He might make sure that there's always availability 24 hours between him and his staff or whoever's working for him. He might also ensure that if the phone lines aren't answered, that it goes to a call centre where a message is taken and he's contacted in that sort of way. He makes sure that when he's sort of delivering value, that he keeps a record of the parts. He deals with the plumbing merchant that keeps a record of what parts are go into what properties. So he's able to give good reporting to that landlord or letting agent about what's really happening with his work and how he's probably carrying out a service that's a lot more transparent compared to other providers in the area. Now, at the end of that, then, often at the end, is along with that pricing and making sure that his overheads are in the right place and he is really delivering value, is why does his business model make money? Okay, and it's often at this part that some entrepreneurs get sort of really caught up with being so busy that when the year-end accounts come along, they can sometimes be disappointed with working really hard and probably not earning what they sort of want. Now, this can be a failing in your business model for lots of reasons, because the art of business is to have something that creates more profit, and that's not profit for an entrepreneur to just have to spend on going out on more holidays or driving a nicer car. More often than not, well, what I've seen of entrepreneurs is that they tend to invest the money back into the business, whether that's to have better infrastructure, or in the case of the plumber, he might invest in touchscreen technology, payments with cards. He might decide to spend more on the website and promotion. So more often than not, profit isn't just always a driver of the entrepreneur earning more money. It's often a driver to strengthen the business and sort of add more foundations. So if you look onto the left of the report that I carry out here with my clients, it's sort of given a few examples of where you would see with the Who some common aspects that we talk about with clients. Could do with marketing, R&D, and just trying to identify who your potential customer is, what you're trying to satisfy, the problems or hassles that those customers might experience, and sort of how you overcome that. Obviously, the other part of the business model would be the what. Okay, and an example of that, of what you're offering to your customer, this is where you can have problems with sort of like leadership, strategy, mindset, of knowing what to offer your customer and how you really not only work towards satisfying maybe the pains or the problems that customer has, but also understanding your tactics of what might happen, because that problem may not always exist for the future. So you'll change your business model as time goes on. A good example of that is probably the beer industry. 30 years ago, it probably didn't matter how much sugar and bad toxins were in a beer, but nowadays having low calorie beer and alcohol it isn't necessarily seen as a bad thing, even non-alcoholic. So your business model can change as your consumer changes. The other thing then is that here on the example, just looking at the how you create value. That again is to do more with sort of like the internal sides of your business, with processes, making sure your people and the culture of your business are aligned with them wanting to provide good customer service, probably the experience or the process of sales or the infrastructure of IT inside your business. And then at the end of it, sort of why does it make money, and the problems that tends to come along with finances, and that sort of being your finance, tax, the drawings or dividends that you take out for the business. So, when I've started doing these reports and sitting down with my entrepreneurs, we used to talk at length about lots of things in business. Yes, it's complicated, but what I've noticed by looking at this business model, what really helps is there's a real foundation for me to sit down with the entrepreneur, write up a report, and reference maybe the issues or recommendations I'm making, and colour that so the entrepreneur can say, do you know what, Ryland came down, we started talking about my sales process, and we just didn't know who to target, but Ryland showed me that was the red part of my business model, and I can fix it. I hope this has helped, and best of luck with what you're doing, and hopefully I can share some more really cool videos in the future. Thank you. Bye.